Hello and welcome to the online cash journal training today. This session may be recorded for training purposes. As the school treasurer, you are responsible for keeping track of school funds and recording the school account bank activity as it occurs. In preparation for this training, the Cash Journal Training Guide and the Cash Journal Beta 2.0V were emailed to you in the meeting invitation so that you can familiarize yourself with the journal and prepare any questions or concerns you may have. We strongly suggest that you begin using the journal now and start inputting your school's activity. Not only will this help you get more comfortable using it, but it will get your school ready in the event your school is selected for an audit. Using it now will provide an easy and fast transition. It will help you to provide your bank reconciliation and balance reporting at the end of the current school year and have you ready for the new one. Feel free to take notes, but please hold your questions until the end of the presentation so that we can have more time for Q&A. The first part of the training will focus on the training guide, the second part will focus on the cash journal spreadsheet, and the third part will be Q&A. The goal is that this training will provide guidance on how to use the cash journal and make it an easy transition for you and your school. Please refrain from typing in the chat during the presentation so that it's not a distraction and we can present without interruptions. Also, please mute your mics to avoid feedback. We are here to support the schools. If you have any further questions or need further assistance, please see page 25 of the PowerPoint for the contact information that was emailed to you with the invitation. Now let's begin. Today's agenda will be objectives and learning goals, the cash journal demo, and proactive problem solving. We will begin with the objectives and learning goals. The first objective is to understand the importance of an online cash journal for school bank accounts. The second objective is to ensure proper cash accounting and documentation for school bank accounts. To elaborate on this second objective, proper cash accounting ensures that you know how much money you have to spend and what is owed. Bank account reconciliations in turn ensure that the cash you think you have on your books is what you actually have in your bank account. Reconciliations protect against theft and/or fraud, account for no good checks and other bank adjustments, and also help detect bookkeeping errors. Because these were raised in the name of students, they are fiduciary accounts. As such, each school has a duty to prove that each expenditure is real and prove that the expenditure was student-related. See the Standard Operating Procedure Manual, also known as the SOPM, for more information on cash disbursements and the role of treasurer. The third objective is to feel comfortable using the online cash journal when it launches in July 2022. Finally, the fourth objective is to clarify and begin clearing potential roadblocks around the product launch. The online cash journal will go live in July 2022. Upon the journal's July launch, the DOE strongly suggests that schools use this online cash journal to manage their school bank accounts. Next, we will focus on the whys of using the cash journal. The why of the online cash journal will explain the various reasons why the DOE has decided to implement the online cash journal and why it is so important for you to use. The first why is the 1099 federal tax reporting. In order to meet federal tax reporting requirements and avoid fines from the IRS, the city must accurately capture expenditures from school bank accounts for services provided by non-employees. Because these payments must be aggregated across the city, the reporting is impossible to complete at the school level. In other words, if two schools and another city agency all pay a consultant within the same calendar year, those payments must be added together for the one final 1099 form. The second why is the requirements for GASB 84 financial reporting. These reporting requirements have changed, and now require the DOE to capture all additions to and subtractions from school bank accounts. Without the right tool, these calculations are difficult for schools to calculate and for Central to collect. The third why is the feedback from school leadership transitions. New principal and treasurers often find that their predecessors left financial records around their school bank accounts that are lacking. Without a centralized platform, finding this documentation and explaining what bank account balances are intended for can be challenging. And without a standardized platform, training new staff largely falls on the school instead of being supported by Central. And the fourth why is the potential cost savings for schools, which means that if the DOE can capture school bank account expenditure data, DCP may be able to identify opportunities to lower costs for schools by spotlighting cheaper vendors or negotiating better prices.
Before we continue with how to utilize the cash journal, I want to show you what it looks like. The cash journal is an Excel spreadsheet. When you open the spreadsheet, this is what you will see. This is the first tab, the Instruction tab. Here, we have zoomed in on the tabs that exist in this cash journal. These tabs will help you navigate the journal. As we continue with the presentation, you will see several examples of the account overview and the account activity pages in particular. Most of your work will be in the Account Activity tab. This is the Account Overview tab. Most of the information that will appear on it is based on information that you input in the Account Activity page. The only information that you could input on this page is in the light green areas. This is what the Account Activity tab looks like. There are clearly several columns, so careful inputting is necessary, and will hopefully become clearer shortly. Please note that all information should be typed into each appropriate cell. Be careful not to copy and paste information into the spreadsheet cells, as it could potentially throw off the formula. This is the Bank Reconciliation tab. This page is important because we should be reconciling our accounts monthly. As long as we are regular and complete in updating our account activity page, the reconciliations will generate easily. The only information you can type on this page is the date of interest, the month and year, in the light green section.
You are now viewing the Account Activity tab. We are going to use the Cash Journal 2.0 to illustrate cash accounting today, and we encourage you to use that tool moving forward, especially if this process is new for you, and you do not have any other tools. You may also enjoy using the Cash Journal 2.0 if you have some experience, but want a simpler system that helps with reconciliations. This may also be the prototype for a system rolled out more broadly in the future, so using this tool now may give you a leg up in the future, and provide feedback for what that future looks like. As mentioned, on screen now is the Cash Journal 2.0. This tab serves two purposes. First, it allows you to enter the different sub-accounts your school uses. Second, once those accounts are entered and the account activity is updated, this tab will show the sub-account balances for any given reporting period. You are only able to enter information in the cells highlighted in light green. Those cells are the bank account name, the account number, as well as the transition, beginning and ending dates and the sub-accounts. For the example, today we will use a fake account at a fake school. We will use a transition date of July 1, 2021 to best align with the test data. We recommend you use a transition date of July 1, 2022. When setting up this cash journal, we recommend using reporting beginning and end dates that align with the accounting activity being entered. After that, you can set the dates to any period of interest. Just make sure the beginning date is not before the transition date, and the end date is after the beginning date. This cash journal holds sub-accounts for the student store, sales tax from the student store, discretionary, for example, general school funds, and unattributed. Note that unattributed means you have not yet selected or determined a sub-account, which should be done as soon as possible. For this example, this school is also maintaining a senior dues account. Your school may operate more or different accounts. We will now go through the different columns in the Account Activity tab in the Cash Journal. The Sub-Account column, here you will select the sub-account from the drop-down. The options come from what was entered in the Account Overview tab. Note, because of an Excel quirk, you will likely have to scroll up to the right sub-account. If left blank, the activity will be recorded as unattributed. A proper sub-account should be selected as soon as possible, as the funds in unattributed should be $0. The Purpose column, here you will enter what are the funds earmarked for. The Accounting Activity Date column, here you will enter the date when the funds are collected or disbursed. The Cash Category column, how was the transaction executed, for example, was it cash, check or money order? The Check and Receipt Number column, here you will enter the check number which comes from your checkbook when issuing disbursements, the receipt number, which is from the treasurer's receipt book when receiving cash or check. The From column, here you will enter who it was received from. The Amount Received column, here enter the amount. The Sales Tax column, this column is for student store revenue only. The Paid To column, here you will enter who was the check written out to. The Amount Disbursed column, here you will enter amount of disbursement, how much the check was for. The Memos and User Notes column, this is optional and is for the benefit of the bookkeeper, for future reference of transaction. The Bank Posting Date column, here you will enter the date the transaction appears on the bank statement. The Stop Payment Date column, here you will enter the stop payment date only if a check has been confirmed to be stopped by DOE Banking. The Technical Notes column, here you will receive warnings if a check will bounce due to insufficient funds, or if there is an overall negative balance, among other warnings. The Aging column, this column will show the age of an outstanding check. Now we will add how to do the initial transfer to the cash journal. First, we must enter checks still outstanding as of the transition date. Enter information for the sub-account, purpose, accounting activity date, for example, check issue date, cash category, check or money order, check/receipt number, paid to, amount disbursed, and, if applicable, memos and user notes. Then we must enter the book balances for all active sub-accounts. Accounting activity date and bank posting date should be the day before the transition date. Amount received should be the book balance as of the transition date. Enter information as well for sub-accounts, cash category, sales tax, if applicable, and memos and user notes, if applicable. Note, the sum of all your June 30th, 2021 sub-account book balances plus all outstanding checks should equal your June 30th, 2021 bank balance, assuming there is no cash on hand or deposits in transit. If you have access to 2 monitors, or one large one, we recommend that you look at both windows to view account overview and account activity at the same time. After we have input the outstanding checks and initial transfer of funds, we can then proceed with entering all accounting activity as it occurs. In this example, there is no activity in July, but 2 transcript fees received in August, 1 paid with currency, and 2 checks issued for pizza. As the account activity is entered, the book balances for the sub-accounts update. Just make sure that the reporting period beginning and end date cover the period of interest. Enter all banking activity as it appears on the bank statement when you receive the bank statement. In this example, many of the outstanding checks were deposited, one was stopped due to age, and one remains outstanding. The currency collected on August 31st was not deposited in time to appear on the August bank statement. As the banking portion of account activity is entered, the bank and book balances for the sub-accounts update. Just make sure the reporting period beginning and end date cover the period of interest.
For the next 2 slides, we are going to compare the standard bank account reconciliation template and the bank account reconciliation in the cash journal. Using the standalone bank account reconciliation template as you see here, make sure the difference in reconciliation is $0. If the difference is not $0, most likely one of the amounts was not calculated or entered correctly. Using the bank reconciliation template in the cash journal, simply update the time period in the light green section with the month and year of interest. If the account activity is maintained, the appropriate information should appear. Pay close attention to the bank balance, making sure that it matches that of the bank statement for the corresponding month. If the formulas work properly, it is still in beta version, so there could be some bugs. They will force the difference in reconciliation to be $0, but they will not know to flag the balance per the bank statement if it is incorrect. If these numbers do not align, most likely either an accounting entry was omitted or improperly entered, or the banking activity dates were not updated properly. Tips for locating accounting errors. 1. Subtract the amount that you believe may be wrong in your reconciliation from what you believe the amount should be. If you find 2 errors or differences of the same amount, but in different directions, you probably recorded the transaction in the wrong place. If the difference is evenly divisible by 9, you may have a transposition error, meaning you reversed 2 digits in a number or left a 0 off the end of a number. For example, you typed $540 when the amount is $450, or you wrote 12 instead of 120. If the difference is 3 or 30 or 300, you may have made a 10-key calculator error. For example, you were trying to key a 4, and you either hit above the 4 and keyed a 7, or below the 4 and keyed a 1. 2. If your reconciliation is still not a $0 difference, search your books, bank statements, and other source documentation for that exact amount. You may have missed entering it. Divide the difference by 2. Check your balances for that number and determine if you posted the number in the wrong column, for example as a debit when it should be a credit, or vice versa, or if you added it when it should have been subtracted. We understand that the summer is a difficult time for schools to learn anything new since oftentimes the required staff are on vacation. And we also recognize that the beginning of school is a time when schools need to focus on their students and families as much as possible. Unfortunately, this is also the time that the city requires us to collect and report our financial data. So, with all that in mind, we want to clear as many roadblocks now so that those times will be easier. 1. We have a good sense of which schools will be audited in the fall. For those schools, we highly recommend they adopt this cash journal prototype so that reporting is easy and accurate if selected. Schools selected for an audit will be notified. 2. The online cash journal is designed so that only the treasurer can update the books. What this means, however, is that a treasurer must be associated with the school in the school bank account system. If your school does not have an active treasurer identified, we want to update your account officials now instead of scrambling in the fall. 3. School bank accounts that are out of compliance are not only becoming more visible, they will complicate the reporting process in the fall, and may require schools to take more steps in order to accurately report than schools that are in compliance. To simplify the reporting process, we want to bring accounts into compliance now. 4. Assets in school bank accounts that are not properly reported will be frozen. Transitioning to the cash journal prototype now will mean it is much less likely that an account will be frozen in the fall. For any schools currently experiencing a hold on their account, getting the cash journal started effective July 2021 is an easy way to remove those holds as well. 5. Again, it is strongly suggested that you start to utilize the cash journal so it can be an easy transition when it is used in July 2022. 6. This is a living document, so there may be updates or changes to the cash journal. If there are updates or changes, the Treasury Management Unit will provide you with this information. This is our final slide. Here is all the relevant contact information for our Treasury team. You will find the telephone number, email address, and website. Please utilize this if you have any questions or concerns. We would like to conclude our presentation with a statement that most of us are probably very familiar with: being a treasurer is a very responsible and important function in a school. All of us know that it is just one of the hats which you must wear every day. Some of you are teachers, parent coordinators, secretaries, paraprofessionals, or other school support staff. The Cash Journal 2.0 was created for you to make your work easier. Without advanced knowledge of accounting and bookkeeping, you will be able to control the cash flow and accounting in your school. This user-friendly platform built on an Excel spreadsheet, Cash Journal 2.0, will give you quick access to all the information you need. The instructions are available in the first tab for those that may need some further guidance or reminders. The account overview is the summary of our account based on our account activities. Monthly internal control statements and the bank account reconciliation are the final two tabs that are used when necessary, but least frequently. You will just simply enter the information on a daily basis, or as the account is used, and the journal will do the rest for you. In cases where transition may occur in school, particularly with the treasurer position, all information regarding the bank account will be available and easily transferable to the new official. All parts of the journal are savable and printable as well. You can retrieve the information about your school bank operations in the matter of minutes, even seconds. This is how simple and convenient it is. Treasurers, don't wait, start using Cash Journal 2.0 today. Thank you for your time and participation in our training.